Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Keeping It Real podcast. I am your host, McKaylee Lonaville, and I'm so excited to have you here with us today. Today, I have one of my very good friends, Jenna Rotondo, on today. We are going to be talking a little bit about her story, just getting all of her insight, her advice on things that have helped shape her into the woman that she is today. We met many years ago at the Joffrey Ballet School summer program in New York City, and we have a very similar story together that we're going to share. So, Jenna, I'm so excited to have you here. Hey, girl.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Yeah, so me and Jenna, like I said, we met at the Joffrey Ballet School summer program in, I believe, 2015, if I'm right.
Yeah.
And
hmm
we like immediately started to become like best friends. Like we were inseparable those 3 weeks.
Yeah, seriously. I know. We hit it off so naturally. I
So
like
naturally.
it was so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
And
really fun.
we both were definitely a little bit crazy back then in those days.
Yeah.
And now we become new creations in Christ, and that is what we are here to talk about today. We have very similar
hmm
stories, so I was super excited to ask her to come onto the podcast because I know that there are people who have a similar story as us as well, and I just feel that we can share a lot of knowledge and a lot of insight. So I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Me and Jenna have not really talked. We've connected or like kept connection on social media for a couple years now. We haven't seen each other since about 2017, so it's been a very long time. But once I released my podcast, we kind of connected again over God. And also a couple months ago, I saw that Jenna had started her walk with God, and I had messaged her and been like, "Oh my gosh, girl! Like I just started my walk with God too. Like how crazy is that?" And we just started connecting on all of that, which was super cool because we both have come from a little bit of a similar background in the sense of partying and drinking and all that. So, Jenna, I would love for you to just explain a little bit about your story, just how you overcame addiction and how you found faith in Jesus. So, if you could just share a little bit about that and kind of what led you to Jesus and what led you to kind of fall out of the ways of the world.
Yeah. Okay, well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm so excited for this. This is like my first time on a podcast, and it's with you, so it's like so full circle craziness. Like God is so good.
So good.
Um, But yeah, so a little background. I grew up Catholic. I went to Catholic school my whole life, uniform my whole life, went to an all-girls high school, Catholic again, and I always had a foundation with God. I went to church every Sunday with my family. Um, but same old story. I feel like I never really felt the presence of God ever. I feel like maybe as a kid because I was so innocent and I felt this I had such a good childhood, so I felt like God and my good upbringing kind of it made me feel like God felt like home because I had such a good home, um, which was such a blessing in disguise, really. But as I got older, I feel like I I always like was the fun kid in dance. I was such a light, so I always like to have fun, and
Same.
I feel like that is really, yeah, it, it's what brought me to just want to have fun, you know? And as I think I was a freshman, and also I think it goes back to because I was in Catholic school, it kind of made me always um, think about what I was missing out on. Like, oh, what's the public school kids doing? Like, oh, they're dating, they have boyfriends, like they are, I don't know, I was just always curious about that, like
Yeah.
what else is out there type of thing. And so I got to high school. I loved it. I was innocent. I did go on a retreat. I remember my freshman year and without my phone. It was part of my school and I loved it. I was like, "Oh my gosh, like God is so cool. Like, this is the first time that I saw Christians be cool, you
Mm,
know? Like, it was not like holy, like traditional Catholic. And I was like, whoa, like Christianity is really cool. Like, these people like love God, and this is such like a fun life. And so I got a little taste of that. But unfortunately, I got introduced to marijuana like when I was almost 15. Um, and that from there, it was like that was it. I tried it, and like I didn't even have like a good experience for my first time, and especially I was so young, but I was so interested in something that was just different. Like I can't even explain it, but I was just like, whoa, what is that? And my older brother actually was the one to introduce me to it. Um, and yeah, and I was just like, yeah, that seems cool. That seems fun. And I did it. I didn't really like it, but then I did it again and I liked it. Like I thought it was really cool and really fun. And just like to experience reality in a different way,
yeah,
was always just I didn't see anything bad with it because obviously at that age you don't really know any better. And yeah, I just thought it was cool. So fast forward, I loved it. I was smoking like all the time. And obviously as I get older, like when I got my license, that was it. Like I just always was smoking because I had the freedom to just leave and just do it.
yeah,
And it really became my identity.
yeah,
Yeah. It really became my identity. Like I was the stoner, and it made me feel like I was stupid in a way, like not like actually like the like stupid, but just like not not as smart as any of my other like classmates. I never raised my hand. I always fell asleep. Like I didn't care because I also was a dancer. So I was like, I'm gonna be a dancer. Like I don't even need to try whatever. And typical. I know you can probably relate.
it
But
definitely.
but yeah, no, I know. And so, and then obviously over time got into drinking alcohol, and that led to just partying, being around people who did drugs. And I just was such a trier. Like, oh, I'll try it. Like, I'll do it, whatever. And then I went to college, I went to University of the Arts, and that even gave me a more freedom to just do whatever I wanted. So I had a bong next to my bed. I was literally going to dance high. Like it literally, I was a completely different person. I don't even know, like, can't even imagine like
It was,
how I even did that. It's so crazy. Like
I
I'm just
think
like,
about
how
that
did
all
I
the
do that?
Yep. I think about that all the
It's
time. Like, I look back at my life and I'm just like, who even was that? Like, how
no,
did I
yeah.
even function with the things that I did? Like, how did I even get through life? It was such like I lived this life of basically YOLO. My motto of my life was I'll sleep when I'm dead. How sad is that? Like that is
That's so
crazy.
bad.
Yeah, it was bad. But I
Yeah,
totally relate to you. You fall into the
that's so
ways of the
wild.
world, and like you said, you just wanted to have fun. And I can relate to that so much. I was such the kid that just wanted to have fun. I wanted
Mm-hmm.
everyone to like me. I wanted to fit in with the crowd. I didn't really care what it looked like doing that. And when you are young, you don't really have this sense of caring what you're doing, like caring what you're doing to yourself. So you can fall so easily into the traps if you don't have the foundation of what we ultimately have right now. If you don't have the foundation of God, then you're falling into the ways of the world because you don't know any better. And
Mm-hmm.
you also don't care about
Totally.
really pleasing God because it's kind of just like, okay, God, I know that God forgives me, so I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and He'll just keep forgiving me. So yeah, 100%. That's so
Yeah. I know. It's so true. And like it was all in the enemy's plan from the beginning because like I feel like I was already such like a light, and I if I had God, if I knew the truth, like it would have been over. Like I would have fulfilled my purpose so much quicker, like blah blah blah, but obviously no regrets because now I can tell my story and like help people that have gone through this, because it's like, who doesn't go through that? I mean, like, I know maybe like a two people that never smoked or drank.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
not even, it's just like, it's such a cultural like thing, or maybe they tried it and didn't like it or whatever, but then they struggle with other things. Like, there's
Yeah.
always something that is you're going to struggle with, if that's anxiety, depression, uh self love issues. Like, it's just because we live in such a fallen world, and like, it's given, it's normal, but there is a way out. There is a way. And the time that I actually felt like I needed to change was at U Arts. It was my sophomore year, and I just felt like I wasn't getting where I wanted to go. There wasn't just like one moment where I was like, okay, like, whoa, but I think it was also some people that I was surrounded around, um, just like drama and just stuff that I was like, why am I even around this? Like, I don't have to deal with this. Like,
Yeah.
why? It was just like, I'm too old, and like almost like my partying, my drinking and smoking, like that really just blinded me from so much. And that's when I knew, like, okay, like, I want to be a dancer. Like, what am I doing? And so I transferred to Joffrey, and I always like loved Joffrey, but I wanted that normal person life. So I never like trained there, because I was like, no, like, I want to meet boys and I want to drink and party and
Yeah.
have fun, which is so like not fulfilling at all, gets you nowhere. Literally just more dark and deep and depressed. Like, it's so crazy. It's such a lie. So I transferred, and I really like, this was the first time that I was like not smoking, like, since I was 15.
Wow.
And it was amazing. Like, it was amazing. I don't even know. I think I just like decided, I'm like, okay, I need to just stop. Like, I'm gonna be a dancer, and I'm gonna do it now. Like, I'm gonna be professional next year. And obviously that did not happen because like I needed my journey, and like I was just like, I had natural talent, but I feel like I was like not strong in so many aspects. And like mentally, like, I've been smoking weed for the past 6 years, like, bro. And so yeah, I was in my Bible. I was like listening to Michael Todd. Like, that's the first person that I started listening to, like, his sermons on YouTube, where I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this is so sick. This is like a motivational speaker. Like, this isn't Catholic Church. Like, what? And so that just opened my eyes to a whole new like love for Jesus. And I was like, whoa, but yeah, obviously I was still lukewarm. And then like the pandemic happened, and I like still was stuck in my old ways a little bit. And I went back and went through relationships, went through like that spiritual warfare. Like, those were the years where I was like battling good and evil for sure. And then finally, it was like 2022. I was like, I had like a revelation of like, I got drunk one night with my friends, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm a different person now. Like, I literally was grieving my old self. Like, it was the most craziest experience ever. Like, I finally accepted that like I'm not my like, I can't do, like, even though I know God and I know Jesus, like, I I can't do what I used to do. And I was almost like sad, but it felt free, but I still was upset that like, why can't I be normal? And that was like the first time that I realized that. And obviously now I'm like so grateful. Like, I would never want to live that life again. But in the moment I was like, wow, this is really sad. Like, I can't change this. Like, I'm changed, and that's that. And then from there, my relationship with God just got like better and closer. And obviously it goes up and down, but it's just, yeah, that was like a big like fork in the road for me, that moment.
Love
Yeah.
that. No, and it's so crazy. Like, you look back at the things in your life that God has taken away, and I look at it in the sense of thanking
Mm,
God. Like, thank you for taking me through that. Thank you for taking those things away from me that I once wanted so badly, because now it all makes
Yeah.
sense what you're doing in my life. So I
Mm-hmm.
totally understand that. And just like that, exactly like you said, like that revelation, like I'll never forget it. Last time I was just with like a couple of friends and I was just like, what am I doing? Like, these aren't the type of people I want to be around. One, these aren't the people that are putting me in the right direction in my life, and I just feel so lost when I'm around this
Yeah.
group. I'm so lost when I'm surrounding myself by these things. So like, what am I doing? Like, what's the point of this? So it's so true when you have that revelation and it's like God is telling you like, okay, you're following me, you're doing these things, but what's the next step to actually fully dive in with me so that I can show you all the blessings in my life or in your life? And
Yeah.
that's such a
Totally.
cool story. I had no idea that you grew up Catholic. I'm so glad that you've
Yeah.
like connected with Jesus on this other level, and just seeing how people can preach, because I've grown up Christian my whole life. I don't really know a Catholic background too much, but I just
Mm.
know like when people Christian speakers speak, like they are speaking.
Exactly. It's like so life changing every single time. I'm like, bro, this is crazy.
Yeah, and it's like God's just like it's you and God in the room, and they're just and you're just listening. And you're just like, all right, God, what do you got for me today? So, Jenna, what role did your faith in Jesus play in your recovery process?
So, yeah, my faith played such a huge role, and I feel like without God, I would I don't even know where I would be. Like it literally was God is he's my center, he's my rock. Without Jesus, I truly would not have been able to know anything else other than what I was doing. Smoking, drinking, doing drugs, like stimulants, everything just because I was chasing something that obviously was not gonna sustain me. Um, so I was filling myself with all these things to make me feel alive when really I was making myself feel less alive in the end. You know, like and Jesus is that thing that truly makes me feel alive. That's real. And even when I went back to any drug, like anything, even if it was just drinking or weed, it would make me it wouldn't feel the same because of I felt Christ and the Holy Spirit in my heart. There's just like nothing compared to that because it's like it just was so it just doesn't feel the same. And that's I think what in the beginning what made me grieve it because this was stuff that I went to for to feel better, to have fun. It was like a home for me at one point, but it's just not sustainable and it left me depressed. And I was never depressed before, like in my life. I was so joyful. I was so happy for no reason. Like even if something bad happened to me, like I still was like joyful. Like I had obviously like I give my parents credit for that. They truly had like obviously little issues here and there, but I had such a good upbringing. So that was great. But when I went to that, I literally felt like I had no purpose. I was like I hated myself. Like I felt sad for no reason. And that was like, whoa, that this is crazy. And that was even like when I knew God. Like I still believed in God, but there was points where the drugs made me feel like I don't care about God. Like I don't care. Life sucks. Like it literally makes you feel like that. And I'm like, whoa. And then I like get to that point and I'm like, oh my gosh, God, help me. I need you. And like he just brings you up again and like you just get his presence again. It's still you it's work. It's not magic. It's not in a second. But if you seek, you shall find. Like that is just so true. And yeah, so basically ever since then, like the Holy Spirit has been like my rock. And if I'm ever tempted, which is like rarer now, but if I ever had been tempted, I just think of the Spirit and think of like what God has done for me. And that has really just like made me stand firm. I'm like, no, like, devil, get out of here. Like, you are not taking me down again because it's a lie. It's it's just a lie. He's a sheep. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. Like it's crazy. But
It's
yeah.
drugs and alcohol are just so from the enemy, and it shows that so much in what
So
drugs and alcohol make you feel like. It's exactly what the enemy wants you to feel like. They are the enemy. That is the enemy.
yeah.
The living, walking thing on this earth that's the enemy is drugs and alcohol, because it makes you hate your life. It makes you feel like awful. It brings you away
Mhm.
from God because you're just full of sin. You don't even know what you're doing when you're in that state, and you just keep sinning and you keep doing all the things that are making God unhappy, and the enemy's loving that. And something that like I've really like found recently that's like really changed me is that we want we want a father, like whether it's our actual dad, whether it's God. We want someone in our life who's going to not judge us, but basically judge us for the actions that we're doing, and someone that's going to tell us right from wrong. We don't want someone in our life who's just going to tell us, oh, you did this bad thing, poor you, honey, I still love you. Yes, God still loves us. Yes, our father would still love us if we did something wrong, but they're judging us and they're putting us on the right path, and that's exactly what God does. We don't want
Mhm.
a father that's just like,
So
okay,
true.
yeah, do what you want to do and that's fine. No, we want a God that's like, okay, well, you did this, that's wrong, and I'm not happy with you. And that's exactly how God treats us. He's our father, he's our dad. That's how he should be treating us. He should be leading us in the right direction, and instead of just being like, oh, it's fine, whatever you did is okay. So we should feel judged when we're doing the wrong things. We should feel wrong when we're sinning, because it's not what God wants us to do, and it's not how he designed us to be.
It's so true. It's so true. And I've seen my life transform once I actually put those boundaries and put like truly stepped into obedience.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
there was a time where I didn't understand why God put things into me that I wanted to do. I
Yeah.
was like, God, why do I want to sin? Like, I don't understand. Like,
Yeah.
but that was a whole nother revelation because I realized that's the one of the only ways that we can actually be in communion with God and to show him our love, because we are sacrificing something that our flesh wants to do to reach a higher being and a higher vibration,
Wow.
feeling those the spirits of the spirit, and then that will actually bring us to a whole nother level of reality, because we're actually like, the point of the boundary is the sacrifice and the proof of the love. And then over time, when you actually love God, you're not going to want to do those things because
Yeah.
you start to love what God loves. And like,
Yep.
I I want to make, like, just like any relationship, like you're not going to go out and do something that, like, if you love someone, you're going to want to make them proud and happy, and
Mhm.
and it just like it builds your relationship so much stronger. But yeah,
That is
that
so
was
good.
a big thing.
That's so true. It is so true. Once you fully give your life to God, and this is just something that I've just recent obviously since I've fully given my life to him, I don't have the desires that I used to have. I don't have the unclean, the
Mhm.
impure thoughts. I don't have those things anymore, because you literally just you don't desire it anymore, because you know that when
Yeah,
you do something that's wrong, it makes you feel awful. But when you're doing something that's right, you feel great. So why do you want to do
exactly.
the unclean, the sinful things? What's it doing for you? It's just bringing you farther away from God and back into that pit of darkness that you were in your life. So that's so true. That's
Yeah.
so good. I know
Yes.
it's kind of crazy, because so just a little bit of background for everyone. We I used to visit Jenna and her best friend Kendall. I used to go to visit them in Fairfield, Connecticut, because that's where they're from. The first week that I moved to New York City to go to the Joffrey Ballet School, that weekend I went to go visit them just so that we could party. Like we were crazy. We were a little over the top, but like that's just our like background. And it just goes to show
Mm-hmm.
you like you can come out of that. You don't have to be stuck in that lifestyle. Like we were crazy, we partied, we drank, we did things that we shouldn't have been doing, and we like craved it. Like all we did was talk all day about like, oh my gosh, I need to come visit you this weekend so that we can get absolutely wasted and all this stuff. And it's like you can get out of that. You don't have to be stuck in that. You don't have to think that you can't, there's no way out, because there is a way out. If you are in that right
Yeah.
now, you're scared to get out of it, you are scared to lose the people in your life, it's so much better getting out of it than it is to stay in it, because you're just going to keep pushing yourself away from all these goals. You If you're surrounded by a group of friends who are doing the things that you know that are wrong, why are you staying in it? Yes, you might go through a season of being alone, but being in that season of alone is going to grow you into the best version of yourself. If you dive into God's word, if you get into church, if you find a community of Christian people, if you do those things, then you can get out of it. If you're alone, that means that you're supposed to be alone right now. You're supposed to be working on yourself. You're supposed to be in personal development. You're supposed to be doing these things because that's what you're going to do to ultimately get to live eternal life with Jesus and become a new creation and become the person that you've always wanted to be. So if me and Jenna can get
Amen.
out of it, trust me, you guys can too.
No, literally. Like it's a miracle. Like
Mm-hmm.
honestly, like that's I was reading through my old text on my laptop from
Yeah.
like I don't even know. I think it was like 2020 or like 2019. I'm not sure. But I was texting my cousin and I was just like just talking like really badly about my parents or just something. Like I literally looked at these texts and I was like, "Oh my goodness." Like that is insane. Like, who is that person? That like breaks my heart, first of all. And then right after, I was like, all right, she's like, I have some weed. Like, want to smoke? I was like, yes, like, pick me up right now. Like, I need to smoke. Like, or just like talking about like alcohol. Like, oh, and she's like, oh, I have vodka too. I was like, word, like, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, so casual. Like, what? Like,
Yeah.
that was, and it's just like not, and obviously, like, it's I don't look down at people that
No.
do that. Like 100%. I'm not like, "Oh my gosh," because I was there and it's not like it's just because I'm in a different place and I saw what that was doing to me mentally where I can say what I say. But like I don't condemn anyone who is still stuck in that lifestyle, and honestly some people like that lifestyle,
Yep.
but deep down you know you have issues, like not issues but like you struggle with certain things that you just might think that is normal, it's just life. But it's not. It's not normal to be depressed. It's not normal to wake up and be like, I don't want to get out of bed, I just want to sleep all day and do nothing, I don't care about anything. Like
Yep.
that is the enemy. That is not what life is supposed to be like. God wants us to jump out of bed joyful, excited for the day. Obviously, like you're not going to be perfect in that like mindset all the time, but it should be like a nice, steady, joyful, peaceful life
Yep.
instead of all these up and down, like crazy, like I'm gonna get so plastered tonight and just like feel this
Yeah.
crazy high and
Yep.
then just get plummeted with the low. And it's not sustainable. It's just gonna get you deeper and darker, and it's gonna make you sin even more. It's gonna make you lie. It's gonna ruin your relationships. It's gonna make
Yep.
you do things with people that you're gonna regret. It's like none of it, honestly, just none of it makes sense to live a peaceful life. And it just, yeah, it's just like looking back at it, I'm just like, wow, I was just so blinded, and it's normal. It's normal. So that I have such empathy for everyone who's still stuck in it, and it's like it's
Yep.
crazy.
I just want to like gather everyone up in my arms and just be like, listen, you can get through it. Like, I just want to show them, like,
Literally.
but that's the goal of this podcast, to find people who are who are our age now that were stuck in that, because I wish that I had these things when I was that age. At that age, I didn't know. I didn't have the podcast that I have now. We didn't have the people that speak now that will come on here and also
Totally.
be vulnerable to tell what they went through. Like
Totally.
this isn't easy for us to come on here and tell people what we went through, but if it's going to change one life, I'm going to get
No.
on here and I'm going to shout it from the rooftops of what I've done and what I've overcome. And yes, it's not like you
Yeah.
said, magic. You don't just wake up one day and you're a new person. It's work, it's hard work, it's dedication, it's love, it's everything under the sun. And you're still going to sin, you're still going to fall into sin, the enemy's still going to show back up. But when you have that foundation, you know how to get out of it easier than you ever have before. So it really is. Once you become a new creation,
Totally.
it's a whole nother world. It really is. And
Yeah.
like they say in the
Yeah.
Bible, the scales come off your eyes and you just like see in a whole new level. Like you literally see on a whole, it's like you see a new world,
Literally.
you know?
It is. It truly changes your reality and your spirit, and you are cleansed like in every day. It's like you don't, even if you feel shame, it's like when you know the truth, it's so much easier to shed that off and just like keep going and keep moving and just being in the truth. Like even if you don't struggle with addiction, even though we all do in some sort, even if it's social media, self validation, if you're addicted to people telling, like, complimenting you if you need that,
Yeah.
food, literally we live in a world full of just I need, want, and no matter what your thing is, knowing the truth completely gets you out of it. It
Yeah.
gets you out of that cycle of, and you can even be addicted to your own pain, to your
Yeah.
own like thoughts.
So
And your
true.
thoughts do change. And it's like better than any medication, anything in the world. Like Jesus is the way, the truth, the life. Like I will die saying that. It's just, it's the way.
Well, we live in a world that instead of pushing people towards Jesus, we push people towards medication to feel better. And we push
Yeah.
people towards unhealthy foods to make us feel better and to numb the pain for a second. I would rather
Yeah.
have something that makes me feel better for eternity than that something that makes me feel better for 4 hours. I'm sorry, but I don't know
Literally.
about you, but I don't
Exactly.
want something that makes me feel good for 4 hours and I gotta start again in 4 hours. I want something that's
Same.
making me feel good in forever.
Yeah. I know. I know. It's so
Yeah.
true.
So, Jenna, I also know that you have been in a health journey as well. So, if you could just talk a little bit about that, because obviously getting out of addiction and all the things like that. So, how did you start your health journey as well? If you could just explain a little bit about that, like how you started, where you're going with it, your goals with it, everything like that. We'd love to know too.
Yeah. So it kind of intertwined with me coming back to God, but initially I was struggling with GERD, which is gastroesophageal reflux disease, like really, really bad. And I think this was, when was it? 20, I think it was like me the summer before transferring to Joffrey.
Okay.
And I, no, no, maybe going into UArts.
Okay.
I was struggling with it at UArts, I remember. So, yeah, my years are like so mixed. It's just like,
I know.
because I wasn't even there. Like, I don't even know what year ever. Like, um, so, so yeah, I literally couldn't dance. Like, I couldn't sleep. It was like basically GERD is like when your esophagus is inflamed, like chronically inflamed. Like it's basically chronic heartburn, but it's different. Like GERD can feel it in your abdomen. So like my upper stomach was just like bulged out, and it was so uncomfortable. Anything I ate, it was just terrible. And I was taking terrible care of myself because I was smoking nicotine, and nicotine basically relaxes your sphincter in your esophagus. So basically, it relaxes it so the acid can get up easier. And I didn't know that for a long time, but then once I got like more into it, I was like, oh, that makes sense. When I rip my jewel, my stomach explodes and hurts so bad. And so, but I didn't care. Like I literally did not care, which is so bad. So
Yes.
basically that made me take a like look at what I was eating, and I actually have like a journal with like all of the stuff I ate like in college, and I look back at it and I'm like, "Oh my goodness. I cannot believe I ate that stuff." And like writing it down like so casually, like, oh, like bacon, egg, and cheese, and then literally like hot Cheetos. No reflux though. Like, what? Like, I was so like, whatever. And some days I ate like two things. And I'm like,
Yeah.
how did I live? Like, I need food. The food is my life. So I'm just like, what? And I didn't think about like, I think I was just so busy, like, not caring about anything that I just didn't eat. Like I wasn't like paying attention. So from there, like I just felt myself not healthy, like simply. And it was a gift from God. Like I didn't need to have GERD. Like so many people around me were smoking and they didn't have any issues. Like, but I had issues. Like I had a problem. And so eventually, once I got to Joffrey, I changed up my diet. I think I was just like I did more research on stuff, and I was definitely not where I am now, like with the whole food thing. Like I didn't really like think that deeply into it. I just wasn't eating like chips and like processed stuff that would just like make my stomach hurt basically. Um and then I realized that, oh wait, I actually like love this. Like I feel good. And my GERD went away. Like over time, it went away. And this also had to do with like my stopping of like smoking and drinking and like getting more sleep and being in a schedule. Like I just got a healthier lifestyle in general. So when it went away, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm obsessed with this lifestyle. It cured me because that was the one thing that I hated was this pain. Like when I had this pain, I was like, F my life. Like I literally like can't
Yeah.
eat. Like I was just had such a bad mindset with it. It made me depressed. I was like, I can't believe I'm in this much pain all the time. Like what is life? And so when I got out of it, I was like, wow, like I found a cure. Like I'm gonna help people like feel better. And like no doctor helped me. Like they gave me medicine. I got a endoscopy when the camera went down, and it's actually so funny when I woke up from that endoscopy, I was still like on the drugs and I was being crazy. Like the nurses were laughing. Like my mom was just like, you were literally insane. You were asking the nurse for a jewel. Like I literally was asking the nurses for a vape. I was like, where's my jewel? Because I was like, I felt so good on the drugs. I was like, I need a jewel right now. It was like, bro, are you kidding? And that's when my mom found out I ripped vape. Like, what?
Yeah, great.
It's so bad. I know, but yeah, so and then eventually so that led me to want to actually study health and wellness. So I found out about Arizona State University had like a really good online program because I obviously still wanted to dance, but I wanted to get a degree, and I had the funds to like bless my grandfather for actually having education fund for me. So if I ever wanted to go to get higher education, I could do so. So I was like, why would I not take advantage of that
Yeah.
blessing? So I started going to school. I'm actually about to graduate in the fall. It's taken this long because I only took like one course at a time, and it was a fast-paced program, but because I was dancing all day, like I really like to like focus and study, and it's nothing should be a rush. There's no rush in life, do what you need to do. I always say like I don't really, it could take me 10 years to finish, as long as I'm learning and I'm becoming going closer to where I want to go. It's like that's all that matters. But yeah, so I'm getting a healthy lifestyle coaching and fitness science degree. So it's like I'm learning about it's like an overall synopsis of like health and wellness and fitness prescription, but I'm focusing on health coaching. Um, because I just like all aspects of health, not just like nutrition or fitness. Like a personal trainer would be cool because I love to work out, but I just looked at one-on-one, like personalized, um, you know,
Yeah.
program, and I could help people get closer to their goals. And that's basically what a health coach does. It like makes the person create their own goals so it's actually sustainable.
Yeah.
And yeah, it like curates a like, I don't tell you what to do, but I'm going to try to get the answers out of you so you
Mm,
can figure it out yourself. And
yeah.
then the change is more sustainable and realistic. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, and ever since then I'm just like, I love nutrition. Like I love food. Food is medicine. It really is. It's helped my arthritis. I don't have arthritis anymore in my back. Like I used to have really bad back pain, and yeah, and I eat everything still. Like I don't cut anything out of my diet except for like the crud that's
Yeah.
poison, you know? Like I don't think anyone should eat poison. Like so
Yeah.
I'm good with the not poison, but I do eat everything basically. I love like mostly like animal based, but a lot of vegetables. Like a lot like plant, animal, but very much so like high protein, high fat, no processed carbs. I still eat sugar now and again, like whatever, but it's funny because once you go to a healthy diet, the other stuff makes you feel so
So,
gross. Like,
so,
and that's why I'm like, I don't feel bad about saying no to stuff because I was like, it's not about my body. I'm not scared of like gaining weight off of one like piece of cake. It's literally, I'm gonna feel terrible because my body actually is healed from all that crud. So it's whatever. It's like I would rather feel good, and the other part of it is that I actually look good. My skin
yeah,
is clear. Like I feel good. Like my body, I can lift heavier. So it's all like it's all good in the end.
it's so true. It's like people are so scared to eat certain foods, but what they don't understand is that it's actually healing you. When you do the work to know what foods are actually going to heal you instead of being scared of foods, you are going to feel like a new person. Um, it's crazy because I always was like scared of food when I was younger because I was like, oh my gosh, if I eat this, it's gonna make me gain weight. Being in the dance world, the body image
Yeah.
issues are real. They are very real. You start body image problems at a very young age when you're a dancer. And it's kind of not something that you can
Mhm.
achieve unless, again, you have a foundation of knowing things. But when you know that food is medicine, food is fuel, it's fueling your body. I can't even believe that I used to dance from 9 to 5 every day and barely eat anything. Um, that's crazy. I don't know how I even made it through because I can't go like an hour without eating something. So
Literally. That's so
I'm
funny.
always eating.
Yeah, that's so true.
Always eating.
Yeah,
But yeah, so
it's so true.
it's so true. Like you, and if you need a health coach, if you need someone to guide you through that, then find that because all we cannot be scared of foods. Yes, there's a lot of things in our foods that we need to be very mindful and afraid of. But when it comes to whole healthy food, there we do not need to be afraid of them. When you're in the grocery store, make sure you're reading
Totally.
labels, make sure you're seeing the ingredients in your foods because when you have things like acids and all of these things that are in our foods, you want to steer away from those. You want to know what you're putting into your body to feel your best. And I used to not do that. I used to just be like, okay, I'm gonna eat this, and then wake up the next morning and not wonder why I'm feeling like crap because I'm eating crap. So just like you
Mhm.
said, it's
Yeah,
food is medicine. Oh, it's so crazy. Like me and our lives are so similar. I just think like it's absolutely
I
insane
know.
how God works because we both like did the Joffrey Ballet summer programs, and then you went to the University of Arts. I was going to go to the University of the Arts, but I ended up doing the Joffrey summer or the Joffrey trainee program for 2 years, and then you went to the Joffrey trainee program for 4 years. So it's so crazy
Yeah.
how our lives are so secular. We were into partying. We were into doing all that. We've come to God. So just like us being, I don't know, I just feel like we're like the same person. It's so crazy. So,
Yeah, it
um,
is.
being a dancer, you live in New York City now. Being a
Mhm.
dancer in New York City, and being in the entertainment industry, I've been out of it for about 4 years now. Just since COVID happened, when I stopped working on the cruise ships, I kind of took myself out of the dance industry a little bit. But how, being a dancer in the industry, being in the entertainment world in New York City, what challenges have you faced being a Christian in that industry? If you could just touch a little bit on that and just kind of explain your challenges, all those things, that would be awesome.
Yeah. So any entertainment industry, I feel like you obviously feel a little outcasted, um, because there's not that many outwardly spoken Christians. If someone has faith, it's usually kept within because of the fear of judgment, because of how like open people are in the industry. Um, and because everything is so political nowadays, people assume. People assume if you're a Christian, they assume that, you dislike a certain type of person or you think a certain person is going to hell. Like, but that is far from what being a Christian is. And unfortunately, because people have been hurt by the church, they just assume that that is what it's about, because people are sinful and people hurt people, and that's just experiences that are valid, but that is not Jesus. And that's why I feel like it is hard to be in an industry that can be so secular and so just not not holy, I should say, because I mean that's what secular is. But yeah, I feel like it's a blessing to be a Christian in this industry because it really is the only hope to get people out of where they are, because it's such a damaging, it can be such a damaging environment, especially for your own self-love, comparison, body image issues, not feeling good enough, just always missing the mark, not getting what you want and trying so hard and not getting anywhere. It's like it really is such a toxic place. And especially if people are struggling with that, they put that onto other people. And obviously, I'm just talking about the bad sides of it. Like, there is such a beautiful community within the dance industry, too, and such amazing, beautiful people, kind, loving.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it's just I think there is a lack of conversation about God, um, and about that true, genuine love for all humans. All humans, even the ones that you disagree with. Every person should be accepted. And when you say this is a safe space, it's a safe space for every single person, not just the people that you agree with. And that's what I think is, people are scared to talk about what they truly feel like and what they truly want to, their true opinion. They don't want to say their true opinion because they feel like they will get shunned and judged and pushed away. That is not a safe space. That is not a safe space. And the safe space, like that whole like new thing, like, oh, this is a safe space. Like, just saying that, sometimes I'm like, okay, so it's not a safe space.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's so, it can be crazy, because of all the politics and and there are people out there obviously that are very, you know, hateful towards certain types of people, which is like wrong. Like, no
Right.
one justified that. Christianity does not justify hate at all. It's actually the opposite. It's
Yeah.
so much true, genuine love that we actually want you to feel the love that we feel.
Yeah.
Because we love you so much and we want you to know Jesus and have eternal life. Like it goes far deeper than just what we see here in this world. So, I mean, that was just like a little tangent and snippet of like something I've noticed about in the industry. But yeah, I think it makes the dance experience so much better having God, because I first of all have the trust that God has a plan for me and that I'm going to get somewhere, and even if that's not the plan that I have, it's going to be a better plan no matter what. And being in an industry where I can be that light and show people that like there you don't need to compare. There's room for everyone, and just something that I've struggled with is actually sharing the gospel, because I feel like social media is such a great way to do that, because you get so many eyes on your stuff, and people can be more intrigued than just like going up to someone in class and being like, "Hey, like, do you know Jesus? Like, what do you think about Jesus?" Like, I just could not even imagine myself doing that right now. Like, hopefully one day that'd be really cool. But like, I just feel so like, maybe obviously this is my friend, but like that's just bold, bro. Like bold faith. Like, but that's what I've been praying for. Like, I feel like we need more of that, because
Yeah.
I feel like people don't, they have an idea of who Jesus was and what Christianity is, but they have no idea. And I always think that. I'm like, I feel like people know about it and they just choose not to do it. Like, I think people just don't know.
Yeah.
And if they knew what kind of life and how much freedom you can get from this, people would be more intrigued. So I feel like that's something that I've been praying about and trying to understand more, like how I can put Jesus actually first when I walk into a room. And I always try to do that with just like my energy, my like kindness. I am a little shy. So like Jesus has helped me with my shyness actually. Like it's really crazy, like the confidence that I get from God, but I am still shy. So it's just like the balancing of like, okay, like I don't need to be in every single person's face. Like, hi, like I'm Jenna, like want to be friends. But like just like there's a balance. I think. Yeah, just yeah, the industry, it's crazy. And then there was a time where I was just like, is this industry for me? Like, because it's so discouraging sometimes, especially because of what you're asked to do. Like if I'm asked to do something like that I don't feel comfortable doing, and to the world it's normal, like why, like someone would be like, why do you feel uncomfortable with that? Like you're literally just dancing to a song that's talking about like your butt, like it's empowering. I'm like, girl, like it's deeper than that. And so there was like a time where I was like am I gonna have to do stuff, like is that sin if I'm like playing a part, like, and that's something I'm still figuring out. And obviously I think there is room for improvement, and I don't know if it's going anywhere good. I feel like it is getting a little bit vulgar in the sense because of this like empowerment movement. um but I can still be successful without that, and that's what I've had to come to terms with too. Like I don't need to do those things to be seen, and I can make it, still conservative and still empowering, and it doesn't have to be so provocative to have eyes on it or be seen as valuable. If anything, the opposite is actually true value. um
This is
so
this is something that I can relate with so much right now, because I just like not going so deep into it like with my story, just because I want to keep it nice, positive. But I was
Yeah.
definitely cast out of the entertainment world in 2020 with my beliefs and my political views. I was blocked from the casting director of the cruise ships. I was unfollowed by all of my very good friends in the industry. I was called multiple names. I got absolutely awful, hateful text messages from people telling me that I'm an awful person, I'm this, that, the other thing. And what's the crazy part of it? The crazy part to me of it is that those people are the love everyone people. Those people are the everyone's included. We love everyone. Don't hate people. When they had literally cast me out for my political views. When I didn't care about anything in their life. I didn't care about what they believed in. I didn't care about who they were. Did I agree with them on their political views? No, I didn't. Did I love them for who they are? 100%. And would I always love them for who they are? Yeah, absolutely. I'm the type of person, I'm gonna love everyone. If I don't agree with you, I don't agree with you. It doesn't mean I don't love you. So that's something that I
Right.
can definitely agree with in the entertainment industry. I would go up to Orlando and Miami and dance here once I moved here. And I would walk in and meet a group of people, and we would all be like great friends. And then they would follow me, and then I would go and see them the next time, and they like wouldn't even talk to me because, again, of my political views. But yeah, let's love everyone, right? So it's such a hypocritical industry in my eyes. Again, I haven't
Mm-hmm.
been in it in a couple years, and I took myself out of it. And then, like you said, as far as the dancing and the provocativeness, I got asked to do many jobs in Miami specifically, and I said no to all of them because I didn't feel comfortable. I was just like, I cannot go out there and be wearing a thong and shaking my butt in the camera. I can't do that. That's not who I am, and I can't even imagine going out and feeling okay about that. And this wasn't even when I was diving deep in with God. I was just like, I can't do that. Like, it makes me feel sick to my stomach, and it makes me feel unsafe. And I
Yeah.
was dancing in heels for about 3 4 years. I was really into heels dancing, and just since I've recently fallen into God's word and like dove in with him fully, I stopped dancing in heels completely. And I don't know if this is a right thing to do. I don't know if this is the wrong thing to do. Like you said, I'm praying on it and trying to figure out what's right and wrong right now. Do I miss dancing? Do I miss being in the entertainment world? Absolutely, more than anything. It's my life. Dance has been my life since I was 3 years old. Being without it is like a piece missing from me. But the fulfillment that I feel from God has fulfilled that now. But
Mm.
I also I also know that God gave me this talent to do something with it. So I'm praying on it. God, what is this talent that you gave me to do, and what can I do with it? What can I how can I showcase you in what you've given me? Is it dancing? I don't know if dancing in heels is wrong. I think when you have a bad intention on it, yeah, 100%, but I don't know yet. I don't have the answers to those things yet that I'm waiting for God to answer for me. So
Mm-hmm.
100%. And, just a lot of things in the entertainment world in my eyes are very demonic. It's not something that I want to be a part of, but I also know that there's things in the dance world that aren't demonic. I'm a part of a company here that we dance with kids in wheelchairs. We have disabled children, we have autistic children, we have people who have Down syndrome. We dance with them, and it's like, okay, is this my calling to God, or from God? Is this what God wanted
Yeah.
me to do? And he puts you in situations and things for you to grow from and learn from. But just because I'm not dancing right now doesn't mean it's not going to come back into my life. But me and you were talking about this on the phone one time, and it's like, if I was in the dance industry a couple of years ago, or if I was in the dance industry these last 3 years, I would be so lost and I would be so not okay because I didn't have God as my foundation. I wouldn't be where I am. I would be lost. I would be sad. I would be depressed, just like I always was in the dance industry. When I was in the dance industry, I was
Yeah.
lost, depressed. I had no idea what I was doing because I didn't have God. So it's like, okay, God's like, let me give you the foundation, and then we'll get back in the dance industry when you have me. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's something
Totally.
that I can talk about for hours about, but I feel that on
Yeah.
such level in the industry. It's a hard industry to be a part of because also there's so many people out that are like, I love God so much and God is the center of my life, but yet they're the ones shaking their butts on the camera. So it's like, where's like, is this right? Is this wrong? You know,
I
I don't know.
know.
So
Exactly. It's really hard.
yeah,
It's really hard. And it's like I feel like that just proves that there needs to be more um Christians that have given their life to Christ in the industry. I
yeah,
think that there needs to be because it's seen as a certain way, and I feel like so many people can be saved and restored in the industry, and the only way that they're going to do that is if there's people in the industry following God, truly following Jesus Christ, not just having in your bio, not just saying God first and completely posting on your story that you're at a club drinking.
yeah,
Like it's and it's hard because then people will be like, "Oh, but God is forgiving. Like, why are you so condemning? Why are you so judging?" And I'm like, if you knew what you're doing, like you're playing with fire. You're
yeah,
no, you cannot serve two gods. You either love one and despise the other.
yeah,
I'm not sure what verse that is, but like it's really talking about money too. But like that's the other thing. Like people will do anything for money, and if
yeah,
you have that in your psyche, like, oh, like I need to do this for this, but it's like we're talking about eternity.
yeah,
Like it's in playing with that, you're playing with the spiritual realm, the demons of this world. Like it's really deep, and I've experienced that darkness, and there's no you being lukewarm is so dangerous. It's really
yeah.
dangerous. But
Well, and
yeah.
also God calls us to be disciples of Him. And I think that we need disciples in the industry, people like me and you to go out there in the industry and um, show who God is and be the light of Jesus in the industry. I think that's what He's called us to do. So, you know, we'll
Yeah,
get there
totally.
and we have to pray on it and make sure that we're doing it in the right way that He wants us to as well. But it's so
Yeah,
true. It's so true. They need it in that industry more than ever. More than
I
ever.
know. Literally, more than ever.
Well, Jenna, this was so good to have you on. Oh my gosh, this was like just such like
Yeah.
I almost cried like 5 times, but it was just like so good. I just love you
I
so
know.
much.
Oh my gosh.
Just like such a sister to me. You have been a sister to me since we've started being friends, and I'm just so happy that we've reconnected because of God. And I'm so happy to have you on here telling your story and being vulnerable. So I'll definitely have you back on. I can't wait to come visit you in the city, and I just love
Yeah.
you. Everyone follow her on Instagram because she's absolutely a stunning dancer. She's beautiful. She's just beautiful all around.
Aw,
So please follow her.
stop.
And I just love you so much.
Thank you. I love you too. This was so great. I'm just so grateful to have you in my life, and like we're gonna stay connected, and yeah,
Yes, we
God is
are.
so good. God will bring people back into your life and bring the friendships like that you need. It's so cool.
You will. And Jenna, what is your Instagram just so everyone can follow you?
Oh, just Jenna Rotondo,
Okay.
my full name. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, girl, thank you again. Love you so much. I can't wait to see all your success in this world and to visit you and give you a hug since I haven't
Yay.
in 17.
I know. It's crazy. Thank you so much. Love
All
you.
right, girl. Love you. Thank you guys so much for listening. Please share this with a friend that you think that could benefit from this. And as always, keep it real out there, you guys. Have a great day.